All right, what's going on, guys? War Eagle to all the Auburn fans out there. This is the Auburn Fanatics podcast with your boy Vernon Speaks Sports. Auburn, down deep south, college football is king, and on the plains of Auburn, the battle cry is War Damn Eagle. Well, just like every year since we've been doing this, since 2019, first day of practice. All the talk, all the talking heads, all the. I'm still going to do my prediction for this season pretty soon for the Auburn Tigers. I'm leaning away. And I just want to give a shout out to all the Auburn fans who have followed my channel over the years. I never would have thought, kind of when I first started doing this, that the years would pile up the way they have, and a lot of things have changed over the years. You look at the 2019 season when I did this, and just mainly wanted to have a platform to where Auburn fans could kind of, have a place to come because there was no other place to go. Social media was starting. Social media had already been a big thing, but I think it was a time where YouTube and, Facebook was really starting to kind of hit home as a platform of stability for sports. Of course, you had your ESPNs, you had your local sports media, but then you started to have the output of social media content on Facebook, which became a big thing, and YouTube, which started to become a big thing. And I think about even with one of the channels that I'm near and dear to my heart, All About Auburn, for example, on Facebook. As a matter of fact, you should join that. You should also join uh, any Auburn platform. It's so many of them now. I just can't think of it at the moment, but they're there. Also, college football platforms where all they do is talk trash, and everybody that are media pundits are idiots or whatever. But you want to join those as well to stay informed. I also like the college football 2026, the video game, and a lot of that stuff is realistic. As a matter of fact, maybe one of these days I'll get around to buying one of those. Go ahead and like the video, comment, and subscribe to Vernon Speak Sports and the Auburn Fanatics podcast as we talk about Auburn sports a lot every day, actually. Um, so Hugh Freeze in year 3, Auburn Tigers head coach, takes to the platform of, pretty much talking about what is going on. Day one of football practice, had a walkthrough yesterday, and actually going to go through some physicality um, today. And one thing that is one element of Hugh Freeze's demeanor is confidence. He's a lot more confident than he has been in the past. There's a lot less excuse, the preemptive excuses. Well, the quarterback's not all that great. Well, we're going to try. I mean, we're trying to recruit, and there wasn't a lot of that this time, right? I think as a leader, and I know it because I depend heavily on the outcomes of how people perform, to come to my own conclusion as a leader. in management. And you know when you're bringing a knife to a gunfight. You know when corporate comes to town and you're like, oh my God, it's not about me. I mean, it's not me, but man, of all the folks, I just don't, I ain't got it. I ain't got it. And as a leader with Hugh Freeze, and I can think of this with other coaches who are struggling to get results, even prime time and other guys, the 9-4 guys, you know, I don't know if they're good coaches or not, right? I'll I'll just, really put this on the table. I don't know if Kirby Smart is a good coach. I don't know if Dabo Sweeney is a good coach. I honestly don't know post emeritus head coach of Alabama, Nick Saban. I honestly don't know if he's a good coach. As a matter of fact, it's kind of hard for me to gauge whether they're good coaches or not because one, they didn't play the game at a high level, right? They don't even look like guys that, like Kirby Smart, for example. Yeah, he played at Georgia, and I have the utmost respect for him um, as he's transformed this Georgia program. But looking at him, I don't look at, if I'm a player, I don't look at somebody that played, hell, any position at a high level. Dabo Swinney either. I look at Nick Saban, Kirby Smart, and Dabo Swinney. I mean, hell, insurance agents, right? I don't see them as like collegiate, and I say that not out of disrespect to them, but I say that to say I don't know if they're good coaches or not, but I do know that when you're dealing with results, that you have to get the garnish from the work of other people. You better damn well make sure that you got the talent in place. And that's one thing I can say about those three coaches and some others that I don't know if they're good coaches. Hell, you got Dabo, you got Mike Bobo back as an offensive coordinator for Georgia. I don't think he's a good offensive coordinator, but I mean, when you got guys wide receiver wise that runs a 4.240 at wide receiver, I mean, you might be able to dial some stuff up. All right, go ahead and like the video, comment, and subscribe. My name is Vernon Speak Sports. Down deep south, college football is king, and on the plains of Auburn, the battle cry is War Eagle. We're talking about Auburn football, and I'll tell you what, one of the main storylines of this presser for Hugh Freeze is, a lot of folks are wondering, like, what's going on with Malcolm Simmons? Is he going to play or not? Is he going to be able to practice? Is he going to have to wait until his hearing? I think in mid-August. Well, I'll get to that in a second. Get to that in a second. Um, I think you got to look at the fact that Auburn is, got some players that have gained a little weight, lost a little weight. You keep it up, Auburn is going to have the biggest offensive line they've had in a while. Maybe they can team up some agilities to go with it and possibly be one of the best offensive lines in the country. War Eagle. But as we finish this thing up, I think Hugh Freeze, I think he has a now or never mentality. Because I really feel that way. The way the schedule is laid out, I think it's now or never for Hugh Freeze. I don't think that's fair, but, I don't make excuses for anybody. You bought it on yourself. Hugh Freeze. I like you. Now, don't get me wrong. I have an endearment for Gus Malzahn because that's who, was coaching when I started doing this. But I have a little bit of endearment for Hugh Freeze. But I just think that much of the pressure, there's no reason for him to be on the hot seat right now. There's no reason that last year should not have been a 8-5 or 7-6 season with a bowl game. Like, there's no reason that shouldn't have happened, but it didn't. So now you're on the hot seat, and now you're in a situation where, I mean, you got a favorable schedule, but it don't line up as favorably as you would want it to, because one, you got Baylor first game. Now, I think Auburn, talent-wise, I think Auburn's, I'm going to do a prediction show on this. I think Auburn should be favored in this game. Probably by more than what they are favored by. But we can't do that because, just like the other media outlets, a lot of the other, platforms, you're scared to do it. You'll probably even bet against Auburn when you're doing your prediction shows just to make sure, well, if I pick against Auburn, cool. The thing is, if you pick Auburn to win, you put yourself on the spot to where you look like you're not credible. And that's cool. But at the same time, that's what analytics are all about. Look at the roster. Look at the quarterback. Look at everything and then make a sound decision. I even heard the Late Kick a couple of weeks ago. The Dave Aranda defense. He talked about that as it relates to Jackson Arnold. And when it was talks of, Auburn coaching staff taking it easy on Jackson Arnold, and he's like, hey, you don't want to go into Waco, Texas with a Dave Aranda defense. Okay, what is that? A defense that allows almost 27 points per game in the Big 12. But hey, if that's what that's this, nothing against, I have a lot of respect, and I should have, especially from a result standpoint. I mean, Late Kick is done phenomenal. He's gone to platforms that, supersede, the typical YouTuber. But I digress. Hugh Freeze feels really good about what he has. I think he should. Go ahead and like the video, comment, and subscribe. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle.